Right, let's get up. Yeah, big shout to Respect to Veg. He's tuned in right now. He's one of our favourite artists. Veg is an original Ramish MC.
He's one of my favourites.
Back in 2022 or 23, when we had Ratri, our first event, we saw him perform this in the woods after hours, acoustically, but almost like by campfire light, and it was a magical moment. Bird's Eye Baby Mums. Is everyone ready for this video?
Hit it, Michael.
Let's do it.
Deserve these buggies, they make me sick. Cause they're gonna get a whole week shopping in Iceland for like 25 quid. Fizzy sweets and chocolates, no fresh fruit herbs or veg, just processed meals or packs in boxes. It's for my bird's eye bitches, dirty skirting balls, dirty ovens and dirty fridges. No long ting beans on a hot oven, 15 minutes. Bird's eye mums, raising bird's eye daughters and bird's eye sons. The only time you eat fish is when you eat fish fingers. You don't eat fish, you're out breadcrumbs. These bird's eye baby mums are like cooking, they're always in a rush. Chips in the oven, put the beds down, turn these standards off and cut some onions up. No chopping board, just a tray and some oven gloves. No time, no coriander, just mayonnaise and ketchup. These bird's eye baby mums don't want me to blow. They pray for my downfall. They want me to flop. They know they'll perish when I get the bird's eye flow on low. And my mixtape drops, they're gonna have to give the kids fruits in the
The Inspector.
Welcome back.
Yo, it's Mr. Traumatic, and you're locked into the Rise Above podcast.
Big
Big
shout.
up all my multi-dimensional entities.
Thank you, Mr.
Question
Traumatic.
everything.
That's twice, Lance. Stop
That's
interrupting.
twice. Stop
Master Traumatic.
I've got, it's too long, that bit. I've got to clip that off. Yeah, so guys, we're back. Okay, big shout to Inspector Veg. If you want to support him, we already had the details on the screen. We will be playing that tune later on as well. Okay, so we have got a very special guest tonight. He has appeared on the show before on a sort of, what should we say, he was sort of
Impromptu appearance.
moonlighting with Tim the Sovereign Sailor.
That's it.
This guy is clearly a wealth of knowledge, quite a controversial character as well. He's all about taking things back to basics with regards to the Constitution. He talks a lot about the Magna Carta. So we're going to pick his brains tonight. We're going to ask him some questions. Allow me to introduce back to Rise Above. Put your thumb up, Graham, if you're ready. He is ready. I've got the thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Let's have him back on the show. Daddy Dragon, Graham Moore, a.k.a. Daddy Dragon. How you doing, bro?
I'm very well, thank you. But just to let you know, I've just come back from a funeral. I'm up north, and I've only got my laptop, right? So I'm hard of hearing. I've got 2 hearing aids in, and I haven't bought external speakers. And the speaker on this laptop is just about at it. So I will try and hear your questions or anything, but I'm doing fine. I hope you had a really good Christmas and a New Year, and you enjoyed yourself on your little holiday.
I certainly did. I'm very lucky to be able to escape the cold, harsh realities of the UK most winters by going to Southeast Asia. It's a real blessing.
Well, it's always nice to get out of a socialist country, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Absolutely. By the way, Graham, you actually sound very clear. So although your speakers might not be that great, don't worry. You're coming through loud and clear.
Don't touch anything, basically.
Yeah,
That's
don't
what we're
touch
saying.
anything.
Don't touch anything, Graham.
So last time you took us on a journey, rapid fire information about the Constitution and a whole lot of other stuff. Just give people a little introduction if they're not familiar. Who is Graham Moore? Why are you called Daddy Dragon? And what are you all about?
So, roughly 30 years ago, I was put in prison by the British state and the British police for something that was a completely made-up crime, right? And I spent a long time in a Category A prison as a Category A prisoner. And instead of doing what a lot of people would have done, would have been, pulling their hair out, kicking the doors and whatever, I sat in a cell with law books and I studied the Constitution. I studied the Archibalds, and I started to get very much a reputation in the Category A, which means the most dangerous prisoners in the country, of representing them. So what I started to do was help people with complaints against the prison system, the prison rules, etc. But the main thing was I really kicked in with understanding there were protections that we had as individuals against the system and the state. And I just want to make sure everyone's aware of this. This can happen to anyone. There is a certain nurse, because this is on YouTube, I'll be very careful.
Yeah.
Your channel on my channel on Rumble, I'll tell it as it is. There's a certain nurse, and the system killed those babies, and she is behind a door now, and people should be aware. She's not the first one. She won't be the last unless you stand up for yourselves and start stopping this. It can happen to anyone.
Do her first initials start with L and L?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just so everyone knows who you're talking about, it's a big story. I think it was roughly 6 months to go, a year in the UK. It was all over the news. Number of babies died. She was called like the worst child murderer in quite many decades, right?
This was out in the mainstream. This isn't us saying the establishment is killing babies or anything like that for the algorithm.
No, we're just saying what was put out in the mainstream media.
So the main point of it was that certainly recently. So the main thing that people need to understand is where Daddy Dragon comes from. And that was because I led quite a large group of people that were called the Dragons. It got infiltrated, and they destroyed the group on Facebook, etc. But people because I spoke of England, our constitution, our common law, which is a legitimate system. We're a common law jurisdiction, the same as the United States of America. And I started to talk about England, where it all come from, the history of it, etc. And then people started to refer to me as Father Dragon. And then it got, and the dragon is the original flag of England, not the flag of St. George. The original flag of England, they call it a dragon, it's really a griffin, right?
Is it the same red dragon that the Welsh still use, mate?
And it's a dragon. And then it got cut down to Daddy Dragon, and now people just call me DD. It's like everyone cuts down the name to something a lot, so I ended up Daddy Dragon to DD.
Okay, so that's the background of how you come up with Daddy Dragon. I don't know if you heard me there. Can I ask, are you talking about the same red dragon that is still used in Wales on the Welsh flag? Is that the same?
No, the Welsh have only had a flag since 1947. And Wales only became a principality. In other words, it stopped being a nation of its own right and became a principality in 1536. So I've got no problem whatsoever with Wales being a completely independent nation. People need to understand that British is a psyop, right? If you imagine, you know, I could go through so many things, but for example, the C word and the jibby jabby, right?
Yep.
It's a psyop. Everyone should understand that the same people that told you it's safe and effective are the same people telling you you're British and there's no such thing as an English constitution. You have been lied to, right? And people need to understand that Britain is an island. So if you go and look at, and there's another nation, two nations that share an island in particular, which is Hispaniola, I think is called. And the two nations that share that island, one is called the Dominion Republic, which is a, you know, like a standard common law jurisdiction. And the other nation at the other side of the island, which is in bits, it's a socialist nation, is called Haiti, right? So people need to understand the concept of an island containing nations. The reason we were called Great Britain is because we contained, as a whole island, three nations: England, Scotland, and Wales. So Wales is a principality, and people then say, well, I'm British because, and they don't realise that the British only existed from 1706 to 1707 as a political union. So the two parliaments was tied. It was England and Scotland. Wales was already with England. It was nothing to do with Ireland. That came in 1801. And that's where United Kingdom come from. And technically, that's just been done. It's not constitutional. It's just an ordinary law, right? But our constitution was protected by the Acts of Union, and that's now in bad faith. And people must understand it's an attack on England. The reason for that, there's many reasons in the background, but to make sure people understand, if you void the Acts of Union, every law since 1707 would be abolished and made void with it. That includes leaving the United Nations. It's gone. It would include voiding any agreement to do with Israel. Balfour Agreement, for example. The Palestinian acts in 1923 that sorted that area out. Every element, really and truthfully, every flashpoint in the world. And by the way, I'm not left or right. I'm not a politician. I'm a constitutionalist. And there's a big difference because I believe in the rule of law, right? So from that side of the fence, Saudi Arabia was created by the British. Iran was created by the British. Pakistan was created by the British. Israel was created by the British. All of these areas. And everyone can have independence except the final and most important colony of all. And that colony is called England, because we are a colony of the British Empire, and it needs to stop to take our country back. What does it mean? You're still a brotherhood of nations. The Commonwealth is still there. And for those that like the royal family, guess what, people? Doesn't affect the royal family, right? Because the union of the crowns happened in 1603. But what it does mean is Scotland reopens its parliament as a nation, a national parliament, not devolved, not a regional assembly, which it currently is, but they've termed it as a devolved parliament. Scotland's already got rid of all the constabularies. It is now a regional police force. And the Scots have been conned, real Scots I'm talking about, the same people that have joined our party, the English Constitution Party and the English Constitution Society, two different elements. But what does it really mean for the people? You would go back to distributed governance. In other words, if you were in Lancashire, you will govern yourselves again. If you were in Yorkshire, you will govern yourselves again. If you're in Norfolk, if you're in Cornwall, if you're in Devon, and here's the kicker, people, the London region and the London Assembly would no longer exist. It would go back to the boroughs. Middlesex would be given back to the people, such a crucial element of England that was removed by the British. And when I speak to people of Middlesex, they all say the same thing. We want Middlesex back, right? So understand that the brotherhood of nations will still exist, right? We can still love each other like brothers, but Scotland is independent, England is independent, and England goes back to being independent states with a very small and lean English parliament. And again, people don't realise that the Constitution, the English Constitution, was what made America great. It was the common law, the language that we exported, the common law that we exported, the fairest and most just law of all, the common law, and the jury system that the British have taken away from us. So that's what I'm about. That's what the English Constitution Society is about. Nothing to do with politics. And then you've got the English Constitution Party, which is strategic. So I stood in Chorley and got 1,007 votes. BBC wouldn't even talk about us. No one would talk about us because we stand up for England, and our literal sign is the sign of Christ. It is the cross, right? We are a Christian nation. We should no longer be a secular nation. We need to take our nation back to our Christian roots. Now, I am a Christian, but I don't regard myself, as a lot of people would say, as a Bible basher, right? I'm out there. I'm just a normal, everyday working class person. The politics that we have got in this nation today should not ever have existed. Party politics was not part of the Constitution of England. When you are elected as a member of Parliament, you represent your constituents, not a political party. And in fact, a three-line whip is unconstitutional and illegal under our Constitution. Yet they still get away with it because people are not taught about their Constitution.
Can I just rewind and zoom in on something you said a minute ago, which I think is very important? This whole bombshell about the difference between England and Britain, I think is a very salient point. Now, you said when people say they're British, that is basically a farce. Is it sort of like someone from Europe saying, I'm from the EU? Is it that kind of false dichotomy to say that you're British rather than English? Because I think what you're saying is Britain is sort of like a mini fake union that predated the idea of the EU to bring all the European countries together. Is it the same sort of idea?
So I heard part of that, and it's this term Britishness. I want everyone to understand a couple of things, and remind me about Trump because it's really important.
Don't worry, we'll be coming to Trump. Don't worry,
we've got notes.
So from the British element, people have to understand the attack on England really kicked in from 1820. It was designed and orchestrated by the Fabian Society. The Fabian Society founded the Labour Party, but who founded and financed the Fabian Society? Rockefeller and the Rothschilds. Why? Because they needed to control the working class. So the industrialists and the pharmaceuticals, etc., they got control of us via the Fabian Society. The Fabian Society created the Labour Party. The Labour Party are the people that are controlling the working class. It's all the same thing. But people must understand that the British in 1947 with something called the British Nationalities Act 1947 erased, right, unlawfully erased your national identity of English, Scottish, Welsh and Irish. And then they advanced that with the British Nationality Act of 1981, right? So anyone born prior to 1981, grandfather rights, you can still call yourself an Englishman or a Scotsman or an Irishman, right? It's why you can't put on a form English or Scottish. You must only put, because the state took control. And why did they do it? Because if they give you a legal fiction of British, which they've created in that corrupt parliament, right, you've got no rights. You haven't got a British constitution. You've got no British rights. The British are the ones who wanted to carry on with slavery. It was the English that stopped slavery, not the British. So when you understand the concept and how it fits together, you realise they've brainwashed people to say, well, my mum was Scottish and my dad was Irish. That makes me British. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. That's what they've told you. That's what they've instructed you to think. The British comes from them two acts. And I'll tell you the last person who did it, and this is the shocker for most people, right? Joseph Stalin from the USSR. He was the commissioner of identity, and he wiped out Russian, Polish, and all of the identities. He said, you are now a Soviet, right? The same brainwashing went on for 70 years in the USSR. If you go out there now, 20% of the population still call themselves Soviets. Yet when I went in a shop and spoke to a Polish woman, it was when the football was on, she gave me a British flag and said, are you supporting football? I said, no, I'm not. And I'm English, not British. And she went, no, you're British. I said, where'd you come from, darling? She said, Poland. I said, so you're a Soviet, are you? And do you know what she said? I get it. I get it.
She understood that straight away, because whenever I speak to people from Eastern Europe, especially during the bullshit of 2020, they were always very aware because of how they'd suffered under the Soviet Union, and was always very clearly something they wanted to distance themselves from, you know, the Iron Curtain, communism, the propaganda, etc., etc.
That's it. And it is all about propaganda. You've got to realise that the slow march through the institutions started with the education system in Britain. That's why they've got control of your kids now.
Thank you. Sorry, we've got a very relevant comment here on the screen from King of Sting.
Yeah, what was he saying? Bolshevik JEWS won World War II.
Yeah. I mean, that's just, but to be fair, that's the truth.
Yep.
I mean, if you look at the Bolsheviks, I mean, I can go in, and let me just say this to you. You've brought that comment up. I want everyone to understand this. You can talk about the Russian mafia. It doesn't mean that that all Russians are criminals and all organised criminals, right?
Same as not all people who wear a little hat are a Bolshevik. You could say the same thing.
Well,
not all people who wear the little hat are a Bolshevik.
When I say to someone, or if I want to talk about the Jewish mafia that's been in existence for 2,000, maybe more, right? 2,000 years or longer. If I talk about the Jewish mafia, in some countries, you get put in prison for that, right?
Yep.
But what mafia
Shout out
is
to
the
my man
most
David Irving.
best mafia in the world? The Jewish mafia. When they can incarcerate you and you can't talk about them. I'm not suggesting all Jews are bad, right? But there is a core element of that have got control, mainly economically.
I didn't, Lance. I didn't bring this up.
I warned Andy at the start of this show that we're not on Patreon, so we can't speak about this stuff as quite as openly as we'd like to. But yeah, we're absolutely on board with what you're saying, Graham.
We just need to be careful throwing the J word around. We call them the little hats here on the show, Graham.
You call them the what?
We call them the little hats.
The small hats. That gets around the algorithm. That helps with the algorithm.
Yeah, I'll call them the twirlers.
It just means you don't get thrown in the gulag.
I like that, the twirlers. That's good.
So, I mean, getting back to this situation with the British and the English, etc. You can talk about the twirlers or the little hats, etc. If you go back to the 1200s, it was us, the English, that put yellow badges on them, right? And 3,000 was in this country. They brought they nearly killed the country economically because they was counterfeiting our currency and debasing the currency, and then using those fake gold coins.
Shaving coins.
Clipping the coins,
Yeah.
right?
So with the shades, so when they clipped the coins, right, they then melted it down, got a bit of tin, right, and then with their jewellery skills, they was then with their own engravers made dies. This is in 1200, right, and they then gold plated the tin and made gold coins and was using them gold coins in Europe. Europe then refused to take our currency, and it caused a massive economic problem. So the king rounded up 600 of them that there was evidence all over England, brought them to London, put 600 of them on trial. 300 of them were tried fairly, and 300 of them found guilty, and they were hung, right? We was nice to them. We stopped the hangings during Easter, right? And then carried on with the hangings, right? But the point being, they were corrupt to the core then.
This is great.
But no, and people say to me, you talking about that in our history, you're being anti blah blah, right? Anti small hats. I said, no, I'm not. I'm just telling you the history.
That actually happened. It's not up for debate. That is official mainstream history.
It's Claremont narrative, mate.
Direct from source, which is what I do. I show people the evidence from the archives, from the people that lived at the time, and say there is the evidence of what they were doing, right?
So, Graham, would you class yourself as a historian?
As English what?
As a historian?
No, I class myself as an English constitutionalist and a legal historian. So
a legal historian, okay.
A legal historian means basically someone who concentrates on the law. So if I was to talk about a particular king or a queen, I'm not interested in their illegitimate children or otherwise, who their descendants are or who their brothers and sisters are. I'm only interested in the laws that were passed under their reign. Okay. And then you talk through it and say, well, that's where it come from. This is what it is. So getting back to the conversation around the Constitution, it's not just about the Magna Carta. In fact, there were charters before the Magna Carta, just as important. There were, if you look at the Charter of Liberties, that was a fantastic document, and it all progressed to give us more and more rights. You can add to your rights, but you can't take away from them. And charters was a form of law, and if you was given a royal charter, for example, in other words, it was expressly sealed by the royal family, you created in effect a corporation. Some of these cities, Bristol, Colchester, have got royal charters, and it gave them the ability to govern themselves with the royals' consent, right? So when people understand how our Constitution goes through history. Don't forget, America's 250 years old. England, as a single nation, right? So the realms come together, and one nation under God, right? We've been a nation for 1,100 years, and we've got that amount of history. Look at Germany. What is it, 180 years old? I think Italy's 120 years old. And when you tell people that, they go, no, that's not right. You say, no, it is, right? Go and have a look at history. So I read other countries' constitutions. America, Russia, Liberia is a fantastic one. If you want to go and read the Liberian constitution, right? Because it actually states, Liberia, for everyone who don't know, is in Africa. And what does it say in their constitution? It says you cannot be a citizen of Liberia unless you are a Negro, right? Where does it say that in the English Constitution? It doesn't. It doesn't mention race at all. The only thing we do mention is religion for a particular reason, because there were certain groups of religions that were attacking us. And by the way, 400 years ago, it wasn't Islam attacking us then, right? It was the Jesuits. And when people understand who the Jesuits are, they don't like that. They come from the Catholic religion. They don't like moderate Catholics as well as Protestants, right? They're just a group of evil people. If anyone's out there, go and read their oath. And
They class themselves as God's assassins.
Yeah.
That's what they class themselves as.
Let me tell you something. They're completely evil. And if you look at the other side of the channel, the Jesuits have set up there. The Jesuits, if you go and have a look at Care for Calais, the Jesuits are on there as saying they're one of the sponsors. If you go and look at the Texas border, and this is people don't realise this, they're on the Texas border bringing in all the migrants, right? So when people need to understand, it isn't just. I always say it's the 3 J's, and they're a similar group. If you really want to get into the technical detail, dark personality. They're 10% of the whole population, and they elevate.
Hold on. You just said 3 J's. I know what the first 2 are, JEWS and Jesuits. Who's the third J?
Jihadists.
Ah.
Yeah.
The holy trinity of J's. I've never thought about that before.
So once you understand, so again, there's something overarching above all of that, which is dark personality. What is dark personality? In psychology, it's called the dark triad. What is the dark triad? It contains 4 groups of people with the same attributes, traits, and he listened to this, the tactics. They're the same, right?
Well, hang on a sec, because J is the 10th number in the alphabet, and if you do the gematria on that, that's 1.
It goes down to 1.
It's just 1. It's just the same thing.
Wow. So carry on. The 4 different personality types, the dark attributes. Where are you going with this?
So they're one personality type called dark personality, but people will know them as this. These are the 4 types. And there's a lady out there, a doctor, got a doctorate from Australia. She done a 562-page thesis in January of last year. It's the best I've ever seen, right? And basically, she highlighted in that the 4 types of this, or what you would.
That's Full Metal Rabbit.
Don't believe me? Don't believe me? Don't believe me? Go study history. Go study history. Politicians, professors and scientists, controlled by some rioters. Through 2 world wars they've been trying it. Corporate investment, no matter who the finalists. Don't believe me? Go study history. Check the activity of bloodline dynasty. Sumer, Egypt and Rome. Consistently pan-European imperial misery. World conflicts enact social change, so they want it. But we must abstain, acquiesce and you're in for a world of pain. A workhouse where you dream of a minimum wage. That's the plan, but it's closer than you think. We'd be there now if it wasn't for the cosmic shift. They're panicking, the game is up. It's all illusion, the only truth is love. Don't believe me? Don't believe me? This goes deep cause they rewrote the history books. You can't quote how the real history looks. Empires thrive from the lands they took. We're in the same boat, it's kept afloat by crooks. Been the same way for more than 1,000 years. There's no love here, all you're allowed is fear. Break through the clouds so the sky is clear. Satanic whispers hidden in the sounds of prayers. Dark suits, cold hearts, no empathy. Fill positions of power in our embassy. Stone circles and burning effigies. Chanting mantras to bring forth energies. Secret meetings that map out our destinies. Hooded figures, manifest entities. Pollute our minds so we got no memory. For centuries helplessly trapped by the treachery. Don't believe me? Obelisks and illuminated torches. Landmarks of malevolent forces. Sorcerers aim to contain your mind state. Open your eyes where you're already blind, mate. You want the truth, better ask and why. Your worldview got squeezed through a needle's eye, and here's the proof. They extinguish lives. Conflicts built on evil lies, no surprise. We don't know of no agenda. Disguised from the light from the moment you enter. Survival of flight, you're a lifelong member. That's right, since they sliced the placenta. Now, welcome to the slave race. Very few will ever find out how the game's played. Unless you wake up, keep on playing it. They look at me and think, why is he saying it? Don't believe me? Don't believe me?
the other subject which we wanted to talk about was this video which Hugo Talks made last week. And for anyone that follows me on Facebook, I brought it up on Facebook and it caused a big old debate, which is exactly what I wanted to happen. That's why I posted it, believe it or not.
Nuance out there. Yeah.
So the video in question, I don't have a screenshot of it, but anyone that follows Hugo Talks will know the video I'm talking about. It's where he called out almost everyone in the truth movement, including Dan Aston Gregory. I found the memes to go with it.
Who's Dan Aston Gregory?
This guy here, Dan Aston Gregory, he's sort of not. He's like a life coach, really, and he's been telling the truth about and being quite impartial, but also telling the truth about what's going on. I followed him. Inner Guardian has followed him. He's only recently started talking about inner work and the esoteric side of all this. He has his own platform called Elevate, which sounds a little bit like Rise Above. He has sort of similar stuff on there, working on yourself to, sort of elevate from what's going on. Well, apparently he's a Luciferian. Hugo Talks. Hugo Talks said some good stuff in this video, right? He called out Elon Musk. Yeah, all good. But he started trying to insinuate that anyone that's talking about meditation or breath work or wellness is on like a Luciferian path.
Right.
And he called out the whole New Age movement and lumped in all of, people on a level a bit higher than us, say. Maybe people with 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
So I think Zuby was thrown in there. Who else in the Guardians?
He'll be in there as well.
AJ, I can't remember his surname. He's got a popular podcast.
Yeah, the ex-soldier. There was
fair,
other people.
I like Hugo.
Santos Bonacci.
Santos Bonacci, yeah.
I like Hugo Talks, but I don't think you should call anyone out because you don't know, do you? For a fact.
I like Hugo Talks as well. I'm just mentioning it because I think he went a little bit far here.
Yeah.
I think he bit off a little bit more than he can chew. Because if you're going to start saying that anyone who is talking about meditation or maybe yoga or breath work is a New Age Luciferian.
Yeah.
Martial arts.
There's nothing wrong with
martial
breathwork
arts.
in yoga, I don't think. My clinic as well.
No, I'm not going to sit here and say that the New Age movement and the pushing of occultism hasn't been co-opted and isn't part of the plan. Everything that's happening in the public eye is part of the plan. Newsflash. Sorry, guys. There's no big movement that hasn't been co-opted, hasn't been corrupted, hasn't been infiltrated.
Action is evil.
You could draw a parallel with literally any subject. So, as an example, you could take transgender. Now, has it been used as part of an agenda? Of course it has. But are there people that I wouldn't say suffer, but are transgender that aren't part of the agenda? Of course there are. So it's the same way. You could literally take any subject, and let's face it, it's full spectrum attack. So they've literally gathered every subject and put it into some form of an agenda.
I don't think you should attack anyone because I think if someone says something to me and it resonates with me, then I'll take it. Whether whether someone calls them a shill or whatever. If it resonates with you, then it's something, isn't it? Even if they are a bloody whatever shill or whatever.
It's the art of the syncretist. You have to be able to extract what is useful and discard what is not.
Yeah, I think what it is. It seems like maybe Hugo is falling into the sort of Christian or Abrahamic viewpoint that anyone that dabbles with this stuff is dancing with the devil. Because I've seen a couple of truthers do it before. I call it going full truth retard. There's one individual called Martin May who all throughout a couple of years through 2020, he was going up to the test centres. He was kicking off at people. He was down with that. He's basically fighting the Soviet Union, literally getting into fights with people and filming it and stuff. Right. Which say what you want about that. Then he smoked DMT. And talked about it online, and then within a couple of weeks he'd become a New Age Christian, and he literally put a post saying, "Yoga, all of this, you're Satanists, you're Luciferians, you're going to hell, and obviously that didn't go well for him.
But in yoga, just doing a good stretch. I don't. I mean, in meditations, it's just getting your thoughts together. I'm pretty sure Jesus meditated, isn't it?
Well,
yeah. Didn't Jesus say the kingdom of the Lord is within?
He's within. Yeah, you don't need to go to a church.
But
all Christians go to a church, and meditation's evil. I don't understand.
I do a lot of breathing exercises and meditation, and
Yeah, well, you are demonic.
I am. Yeah.
Well, I think part of when Inner Guardians brought this to my attention, you know, in the conversation that we had privately was like, I wouldn't be surprised if Hugo Talks has watched this show, because I've seen our stuff shared to him on Facebook, although he's never accepted my friend request and never replied to my messages. Yeah. I'm sure he's watched this show. All of the things he said could be said about us more than any of those people. We talk about the occult and pull this stuff apart every week. You know, we have an occultist on the show, Master Lee. I call myself a lifelong student of the occult. I spit that in my bars every week. So, you know,
I mean, Hugo's pushed a couple of our videos, and we used to have them all on YouTube, didn't he, Chris?
Yeah, I think you've chatted to him, Anify. I mean, I watch his videos.
I invited him on the show. He never even read the message or replied to me. Although I've seen people tag him and say, you should go on Rise Above, you should watch Rise Above. He never replied to me. I'd still happily have him on. I'd actually like to have him on to talk about this.
Yeah.
Because I think this is a very, very important conversation.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, he's done some cracking videos over the last couple of years.
Yeah, no, he's done some very good work.
Especially documenting those adverse reactions.
Yeah.
To navigate your way around all of this that's taking place right now, you need to have the ability to have the gist of something and have nuance. You can't be a literalist, because that puts you back into the same prison that we're trying to escape from.
For instance, you look at Russell Brand, right? I don't trust the guy, but I don't know whether he's working for whoever we might think he's working for. I don't trust the guy though. I don't see how people like that can be trusted. But people who are saying the right things, I don't understand. I think Mark Devlin summed it up about David Icke. For someone who's basically told the future 20 years ago, why wouldn't you listen to what he's got to say? Why would he say an Isle of Mason or something, you know?
Yeah, because even if it is true that he's controlled opposition and he's being told to tell everyone what's going to happen, well, he has been true. He has been accurate. So, whether you know, there's merit in everything.
Yeah. I've been dragged into this Luciferian debate, as you can imagine, quite a few times, not just recently, but for years. And whenever I pose the question, which I always do, if I go into a debate, the first thing I have to do is establish first principles where we both have to agree upon something to start with. Because if you can't agree upon the first principle, then you're never ever going to get a solution or a resolution to anything. So when I ask the question, well, by your definition, please explain to me what you mean by Luciferian or Luciferianism. They can't answer.
Yeah.
So then it's just a term. Now there's lots of terms especially in the occult world and the esoteric world. Even stuff like soul. What a soul? What does a soul mean to you? What does spirit mean to you? What does essence mean to you? What does energy mean to you? It can mean different things to different people. So unless you establish the first principles as to what we're actually talking about, there can't be a resolution or solution to the debate.
To be fair to Hugo Talks, he basically tried to link it back to the Lucis Trust, which goes back to, I believe, Helena Blavatsky's teachings.
Yeah.
It's linked to the UN. I didn't really see how he managed to link Dan Aston Gregory to the Lucis Trust. He was very wishy-washy.
I think I did see that one. Was it when they were all going to the same talk or something?
Basically, Hugo Talks was saying that there were people there who had been against the narrative all along, alongside that guy called Dr. John Campbell, who had been, first of all, pushing the Britney, and then he'd come to a realisation after he told millions of his followers to go and get it.
I did think that as well, though, that maybe they didn't know and they just went along with the...
But one thing I would say is this, right? There's a space within this discussion that needs to be occupied by everyone. We're occupying this space of the discussion. We're very clear about what we think here on this show, and you guys as well. And we look at it with an eye to the occult and the alternative. People like Dan Aston Gregory... His job was to try and be impartial so that he could speak to those people that might be pushing it, to try and present You know, we're not really presenting a balanced view here because we know what the fucking score is. We know what it is, and we're explaining it and picking it apart. But there needs to be someone for the fence sitters doing the other job as well.
Well, I still listen to people who I don't fully agree with. I mean, I listen to a lot of people I don't agree with. I mean, but you can't throw them out just because you don't agree with everything they're talking about, you know?
Yeah, I think it's very short-sighted to do that. I think it's very short-sighted to do that because, you know, some people would be completely turned off by watching this show because it's too much.
Yeah.
You know,
The other problem that you're going to witness, and it's already happened, is that sometimes when people go on a particular narrative in the truth movement, almost out of desperation to get content, they basically fudge things together very badly. So I think this is quite a good example of it, because I would be very curious to know what he actually means by Luciferian, and does he actually know anything about the occult, or what Lucifer, or who Lucifer actually is? Even the Christians don't know who Lucifer is.
Christians
There's a
can't even
debate
decide
within Christians.
whether Lucifer is the same thing as Satan or not.
Well,
That's quite important.
I'm not saying I'm a professional on this, but I would hazard a guess, if there is a Lucifer, Satan, devil, etc., surely his biggest trick would be to confuse the shit out of you.
And create division.
Yeah, so you don't know who's who and what's what. But like you were just saying, I take information, and you know, if it resonates with you, I'm not willing to judge anyone. To be fair,
That's why I like doing, like you guys do, deep research and getting a lot of information, because it's difficult to come to a conclusion when you're having a snapshot, 5-minute or 2-minute type of thing. I need to see it there from several different areas that guy were working for DARPA, you know, or whatever it is, because otherwise you don't really know, do you?
No.
Yeah. You don't know, and
You've got to turn the whole rabbit hole inside out before you get the whole rabbit.
exactly, and that's what you guys do. That's what we do, which is probably why there's some sort of synergy. You can't just jump to a conclusion just because you think you can jump to a conclusion and then utilize that to look a little bit deeper. But you can't jump to that conclusion and say, right, I'm definitely right.
Well, it's like when you meet a new person, isn't it? You first of all take your instincts and you absorb what they're saying or what they're doing, and then you analyze it, and then you think about it. Do you like them or not? And then you also think, all my conclusions could be totally wrong. And this person, even though I don't trust them, might turn out to be lovely, and I don't know. So there's no point making a judgment call at that point, in my opinion.
But generally speaking, Luciferianism is to do with the light. So anybody that talks about going to the light or being of the light or stuff like that could be classed as a Luciferian. Now, the last time I read the King James Bible, Jesus said that he was the light.
Yeah,
So what does that mean,
Lucifer
then?
is the light bringer, and that was what Hugo was saying. He was highlighting people that call themselves light workers.
Yeah.
Hey, on a slight deviation here, I watched the Kroogs the other day with my daughter, and all the way through it, they kept saying, "We need to go to the light. Got to go to the light." And I just thought that was weird. And it was in a film about cavemen, a cartoon about cavemen.
Yeah.
So like Disney Pixar.
Yeah, one of those kind of things. I don't know which one it was, to be fair. But they said it about 10 times. We need to go to the light, follow the light.
I just think, though, you've got to be very careful to pigeonhole every single person part of this Aquarian agenda type CIA 1960s. And I understand why this New Age movement was probably...
Well, the point is to get us all arguing and having given each of us shit about it. This is what you should. This is what you shouldn't do.
I would say this is the most dangerous ground that we're talking about when it comes to the esoteric and the occult. And I just want to say this before either I forget or if I get cut off or anything, that it's definitely an area where you need to be very, very careful and cautious, because something like, going to the light could mean something good, it could mean something bad. It's very tempting to go to the light, and it would almost be obvious to go to the light.
Yeah. But that's what moths do.
To their own peril. Yeah. To my understanding and knowledge, okay, to seek the light externally from another person, another source, you lay yourself open to going to the false light.
Yes.
The correct way of going to the light is when you go through the light via your higher self, which is like the narrow path, the direct line to the source. So, for instance, yes, there are movements, there are New Age movements that will tell you to project yourself over here or over here, receive the light from this or that entity, the Galactic Federation, aliens, whatever. Yeah, I would be very cautious of that. But going to the light from within, I don't see a problem with that, and I think that is quite in alignment with even, say, the Christian teaching.
Yeah.
Can I interject there, right? Because Lee, you've actually explained something I've thought about DMT for a long time. Now, DMT is rife through the community at the moment, and I think a lot of people experience like a void at first, and then they see a light, and they either go with the light or they don't. And I think that is the fake light you talk of. You know, I think because
it could be.
it's really difficult because people got mixed views on DMT. I think it's not what humanity needs at the moment. So it's exactly what they would give, you know?
Yeah.
Because it separates everyone, but it makes you individual on your own. You look at this inner self, you look within, you know?
Yeah, and this is why...
we need to be part of togetherness, you know?
Yeah, and this is... People always ask me, what teachers, what books should they read? What do I recommend? What do I refer? And I always have to say, it's almost like I can't. It's almost impossible. Reason being is because all of the great works, all of the great literature has been hijacked at some point. So for me to steer you to some writer from 100 years ago or some mystic or prophet or whatever, teacher, at source, had you been in the presence with them, you may have been able to get something useful. But the moment it's written down, and then by the time it's passed on and translated or updated, do you really think that the dark occult world, all the powers that shouldn't be, are not going to usurp and hijack that teaching, that path, and then turn it into a society, an institution, organization, and then they can give a false teaching? And that's basically what you're seeing with the so-called New Age movement. The New Age movement, for the most part, is a psychological operation, and it's the dark occult world that has hijacked the light occult or the useful esoteric knowledge.
Yeah, because people that are pushing this idea that the New Age is a psyop, which in some respects it is, like you've just explained. It's very important to point out that these teachings were not made up in the 1800s by Blavatsky or later by Crowley. They were rediscovered by those people and reinterpreted. They were not invented by them. These teachings are the original teachings of all ages, as described by many people.
Yeah, they're the fragments of an unknown teaching.
Yeah, a teaching that predates our civilization.
Yeah,
this is the stuff that was on the Emerald Tablets of Thoth.
This is what the syncretist has to do. The syncretist has to, and this is why I say no one's coming to save you. You're going to have to be your own syncretist. You're going to have to figure it out for yourself. You're going to have to go through lots of information. Now, if you're fortunate enough, you can meet people along the way that may be able to help you and stop you from wasting your time by going into certain teachings or rabbit holes that have been hijacked. So you don't need to waste your time on that. But for the most part, you're going to have to do the work and go through it and see what resonates and see what is true. And the way to do it is to activate the higher self. If you're not in contact with your higher self, you're just going to go deeper into false teachings. So I always recommend the first thing you need to do is to connect or activate and reconnect with your higher self. That higher self aspect of yourself is the one that can do the correct discernment via intuition.
I'm just processing that.
It's very important. Very important. When you come close to any esoteric or occult knowledge, that you have to reconnect and activate the higher self Or you could say the third eye, when in actual fact it's the first eye.
Yeah, it's.
Sounds very satanic to me.
But you'll know what's true. You'll know what's true by the resonance.
Solid gold, Master Lee says Zeitgeist. Yeah, that was solid gold.
Excuse me, guys, but I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'm gonna leg it in a second as well. But
I've got a 4-year-old who's gonna definitely wake up. I didn't realise it was nearly 2:00.
That's how it goes on a Friday night.
Love you all,
Thank very
guys.
much for joining us, Chris.
Yeah, love you all, and I'll speak to you soon.
Rise above.
Fantastic.
Thanks for the ashtray.
Nice one. No problem.
Rise above.
See you
Rise
soon,
above,
guys.
brother.
Bye bye.
Point at me. We are here. We are on the roof of Asda, looking down at Bournemouth Travel Interchange. We've already spotted the leader of the SWP in Bournemouth, Peter, carrying a pile of George Soros signs towards the coach station. The coach gets here in 30 minutes. Right now, we are just going to observe, see where they're gathering before we approach and we start to ask some questions. Rise above.
Militant stairs. Militant stairs. Militant stairs. Militant stairs. Who invited the military here? Militant stairs. Who invited the military here? Militant stairs.
Hey, it's time to do it. We're going to go and ask some questions. They're over there. The coach could arrive at any minute. Andy, PG, it's action time.
Let's do it.
Straight for Gareth.
Yeah.
Good morning, guys. SWP, right? You guys are from the Socialist Workers' Party and Stand Up to Racism? Guys, it's a big day today. You guys are on the way to London. Stay away from the camera, please. We've only come to talk to you.
Stay away from me, mate.
Do not get violent. You're on camera.
Stay away from me.
You're on camera, guys. We've just come to ask some questions because obviously you guys are facing the far right today.
Well, you get
Don't come up to us. We're here to ask you questions. You guys are a political group. Today's a big day. Lamsky, do you want to speak to us? You spoke to us before, mate.
But you're not credible. So.
We're not credible. We didn't edit what you say. So you guys are going to face off the far right today. You're famous for calling people fascists and Nazis. In the light of what's happened to Charlie Kirk, do you think that's a good idea?
It wasn't me that shot him, was it?
Classic coast tour, maybe. Coach pickup.
Are you on the phone too, Peter?
Bournemouth Travel Interchange. The Socialist Workers' Party. Communists. My love, you can put this all you like. My man's got a body cam on.
We've got three cameras.
Three cameras.
Everything's getting recorded,
three
guys.
cameras, guys. So, guys, do you think maybe calling everyone Nazis and fascists might have repercussions, as we've seen this week in the United States with the assassination of Conservative commentator Charlie Kirk?
Are you guys going to be calling everyone fascists and Nazis
Because I
today?
think you called us fascists and Nazis at the protest in Bournemouth, didn't you?
Maybe that's radicalising people. Have you ever considered that? You're actually creating the problem that you're trying to fight.
Do you think you might hold some responsibility for calling people fascists and Nazis and radicalising people to go to such lengths?
No comment, guys.
No comment here from the Socialist
No
Workers'
generic
Party.
slogans to chant at us.
Everyone's very quiet here, aren't they? Very quiet.
You're going to face the far right, but we're actually independent journalists and you won't even speak to us. You just call us Nazis. We're from Rise Above TV. That's our media channel. Do you want to scan the QR code? No. Okay. Yeah, it's riseabove.tv. Look on the internet.
Hello, ladies. Are you here to get the coach for Stand Up to Racism going to Bournemouth? Going from Bournemouth Travel Interchange?
We are independent. Well, you're here. Today's a big day.
Early bird catches the communist.
Sorry?
What do you want? You had two coffee or something?
Well, we've got up, we've had a coffee, and we've come here to speak to you guys.
Would you like? Mate, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're energised this morning.
Gareth, would you like to talk?
Oh, it's Gareth.
Oh, it's Gareth.
How you doing?
How's it going, Gareth?
Any last words before you face the far right today, Gareth?
Gareth, we were just saying before you arrived, do you think it's got repercussions negatively, as we've seen in the United States this week with the assassination of Charlie Kirk?
Good morning, how are you?
Do you think calling people Nazis and fascists might have some extreme radicalisation consequences for people?
Oh, they're just right.
Everyone's very quiet here, guys. No one really wants to comment. No one looks very happy that we...
See, it's funny, when the police are there protecting you, you're quite happy to shout Nazi and fascist to everyone.
Especially this guy here.
But when
he
you get
loves it.
confronted without anyone to protect you, you go very, very quiet.
Very quiet indeed. Very quiet.
Very
You
interesting,
got anything to
guys.
say, Peter?
Very interesting.
Peter
It'd be
from the
interesting to
Socialist
see how
Workers'
you act when
Party.
you've got your police
You got anything
protectors
to
there
say?
later on. Is this the coach?
Peter, have you got anything to say for Rise Above TV? This may be the driver here for the Socialist Workers' Party.
So Peter here is the leader of the Socialist Workers' Party. Gareth seems to be the leader to stand up to racism.
I believe this is Megan over here as well. I believe this is Megan from the Socialist Workers' Party. You got anything to say here for Rise Above TV? You looking forward to facing the far right today?
What's the Rise Above TV?
That's
Us.
our media station. You guys were calling us Nazi wankers at the protest a few weeks ago in Bournemouth. We thought we'd come and see if you've got any last words before you face the far right.
When we confronted you the other week, Gareth, and you had all those signs, the first thing you said to us was, are you guys far right or far left?
Placards here,
We've got
guys.
some signs here.
Socialist Workers' Party leaflets.
Some nice communist propaganda.
Yeah, here's communist propaganda. This is to hold...
Who's paying for all that?
Who's paying for all this, guys? Who pays for all this?
Hello.
Who pays for all this?
Very, very sheepish.
Very sheepish.
Very, very sheepish, guys. Observe this behaviour. Very interesting. We actually expected a little bit of aggression from these guys, the way they normally act when people in uniform are around to protect them. But when people come up and ask some simple questions, they cower inside their shell like a little communist tortoise.
Should we go get the coach? Get the coach. There's the driver taking the socialists, the communists. There we go, guys. You get in there. You get in.
Next stop, Southampton.
Next stop, Southampton. We'll be there.
Gareth's very quiet this morning.
Gareth is very quiet this morning, not like he was at the protest a few weeks ago, calling us Nazis. Interesting.
What a weasel.
All aboard the commie train.
Any more socialists left over? This way on the Soros Express.
The Soros Express, guys. So yeah, guys, boycott South Coast travel by the looks. Oh look, they've even got the eagle on the back.
Oh my God, the
Nazi eagle.
flying disc on the back. Holy shit! You couldn't make this up.
They've got the eye of Ra. Excellent.
Right.
Remember, guys, if you see this coach on the road.
Look, it says NGO!
NGO! It actually says NGO, Michael!
Holy potato! Have a good day, Peter.
Have a good day, Peter.
He's on the phone, he's getting back up.
He's getting back up. He's getting more comments.
He's calling George Soros.
It's so the license plate to the coach actually says NGO, guys. What a coincidence in the simulacrum.
This is amazing. This is amazing.
Good luck today, guys.
Smash the far right for us.
Smash the far right.
Bash the fash. Don't put it in the code. Don't put it in the code.
Well, they can't touch my camera.
Bash the far right, guys. Thanks for doing all the good work.
That would be criminal damage.
Right. Let's retreat.
Word.
Receiving, Michael.
So we're here in Southampton. We have spotted the pickup for the Socialist Workers' Party. We're going to go over, approach them, ask them some questions on this big, important day.
Invite the military here. I never invite the military here. Invite the military here. Invite the military here. Did you invite the military here? Invite the military here. Gore-Tex boots, ankle holster, kit, low visibility, grey. Shock troops, 50k taser, crowd dispersal energy ray. Flame retardant combat fatigues, 9mm Glock 17s, SIG 516, carbine with pine cap magazine. Red dot sight gun mounted, flashlight, backup clip, track to his leg. Counter protest firearms.
Hi.
Morning, guys.
Good morning, guys. We're from Rise Above TV. We're local independent media. Am I right in thinking you guys are waiting for the coach to go to the protest? Sorry? What's that? No, we don't have a press card. We're independent media. We don't need anything like that. Are you guys off to face the far right today? I'm right in thinking you're with Stand Up to Racism or maybe the SWP? We just saw those guys in Bournemouth. The coach is going to be here in about 5 minutes. So you are with those guys, yeah? What it is, guys, the reason we want to come and talk to you, this is a big important day for the UK today, and there's a lot of tension, right? And SWP, Stand Up to Racism, are kind of famous for going around calling people Nazis and fascists, anyone that disagrees with them. The problem is, when you guys are on your own and people come and ask you questions, you're very quiet. Have you got anything to say? Do you think it might be divisive to go around shouting Nazis and fascists at people? Not much to say. Not to me. I wonder if later on, when you're surrounded by people in uniforms protecting you, you might have a little bit more to say when you're shouting at people. What do you think?
Do you think, guys, that maybe some of the rhetoric used could potentially radicalise people on both sides of the political spectrum who don't agree with each other? Do you think calling people fascists and Nazis might have severe consequences, similar to what we've seen in the United States of America this week with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the Conservative commentator?
No, we're in a public place. We're not being rude or aggressive.
We're not bothered. You can film us, we're not bothered. We just want to try and have a conversation with you guys.
What do you think about the assassination of Charlie Kirk? Did you celebrate it?
It's gone over my head, really.
Okay, are you off to the protest today? Absolutely, go for it.
Where were you in 1918 and where were you in 1939?
I wasn't even born.
My grandfather was, and he fought in both wars.
So did my grandfather.
Well, show a bit more respect then.
Respect who? Did you didn't fight in the war?
Yeah, you weren't born.
Why are you stealing somebody else's honour? You didn't fight in any war. What are you talking about?
The government couldn't even be bothered to send my grandfather his medals.
What's that got to do with what we're doing here?
We're very sorry to hear that.
That's terrible. I feel for you, but what's that got to do with us asking honest questions to these guys and you?
We were just trying to have a chat with you guys. We're not trying to do anything malicious. We just generally wonder what you guys think, because obviously it must hit hard what's happened this week to Charlie Kirk, and just think maybe some of the rhetoric should be just considered a little bit more, maybe, because when we tried to interview people at the Bournemouth protest...
So the coach is now arriving. Obviously, the Bournemouth lot have warned these Southampton socialists about our presence. Rise Above TV is in the area. Don't speak to them. Ignore them. They are Nazis. They are fascists. We've heard it before. The coach is just arriving.
If I pan the camera around here.
I'm sure that Gareth and Peter will be absolutely ecstatic that we are here waiting for them.
I mean, we did tell him we were going to be here.
Yeah, we did tell them.
We're not trying to surprise them. We did tell him we were coming.
Absolutely. So how many people do you reckon got on in Bournemouth?
I reckon there was probably 10. Well,
maybe 15.
We left about... We don't know, because we left about 10 minutes before, didn't we?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've got, say, 15 on the coach.
That we know of.
That we know of. There could have been more after we left.
I reckon there'll probably be about 33 in total.
Likely about 33 of them, I would say. I wonder if Gareth or Peter will be up for hopping off the coach for a quick interview now they've reconsidered.
Well, we know Gareth likes a rollie.
Yeah. If Gareth gets off for a rollie, we'll definitely have a quick word with him.
Right, the Soros Express is coming, guys. The Soros Express is coming.
Hello. Oh, how many we got? 1, 2,
Fair few, yeah?
6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14. So I'm counting roughly 20. They're all shutting the curtains.
Yes, they are.
They're all shutting the curtains. Yeah, I'm counting no more than 20 people on the coach.
The child's got on the coach now, so we can film the guys going. Have a good day, guys. Stay safe, won't you?
Yeah,
the
please.
far right. Here's the driver here. So how do you feel about taking these socialists and communists up, people who literally want to destroy the country and take everything off business owners, homeowners?
Mr. Coach Driver, these people see you as a capitalist pig, believe it or not. We haven't got anything against the coach driver, we're just letting him know the score.
We just maybe, from a moral perspective...
These people hate you.
These people do hate everyone. Small business owners, I think they're capitalists.
No beef with South Coast Travel.
Stay safe, guys. You have a good day.
Peter, sure you don't want to have a quick interview?
Quick interview, Peter.
On behalf of the Socialist Workers' Party?
Have a good day, guys. Stay safe.
Bye. So, there we are. Approximately 33 revolutionary communist socialists are on their way on the Soros Express to go and bash the fash and take down the far right. Tommy Robinson, you better beware.
The NGO coach, guys. The NGO coach.
Know them as psychopaths, narcissists, Machiavellians, and sadists. They all have the same traits, attributes, and tactics. They are the same group mentally all the way through. And she sets it all out so you can easily see them. Once you read it, they jump off the page at you. But what she says is they elevate themselves into certain jobs. Members of Parliament, House of Lords, listen to this, police officers, judges, solicitors, barristers, right? They go for any position of power, including CEOs.
Bankers.
Banking, another fantastic one. But again, if you refer to people like the Rothschilds or other groups of people in banking, people don't understand the banking side of it. This is a clash of the banking systems. Because there's two groups of people that absolutely forbid usury, interest, right? Two groups of people. Who are they? Orthodox Christians and Islam.
Yep.
Right? So if there's another group of people, for example, the Jesuits and the funny hat people or the twirlers, right, that rely on usury, what's the best thing you can do? You get the people who religiously object to how you earn your money, right? And you get them fighting each other. That's it.
Yeah.
And if you look, I'm not suggesting in any way that a certain person that run Germany from 1933 to 1940.
Yeah, we're well on board with this concept. We know exactly what you're about to say there, Graham. So I would tend to agree with what you were about to say.
Well,
he was just looking out for his own. At the end of the day, that's what it started with. Anyway, that I'm saying that's what it started with. It started with him looking out for the German
the
nationals.
best interest for
that's
Germany.
It. That's all we'll say on that.
To combat the Weimar Republic.
We'll move on now.
Agree.
Yeah, that's the forbidden subject.
Yeah, that's what it started
with. If you really look at history, you'll find out the first people to create concentration camps was the British in Africa.
Yes, correct.
Who were the people that Russia was backing up?
The Bolsheviks.
The Boers, right? So
the Boers, right.
The Boers were fighting the British. Not long after that Boer War, what happened? The British created the USSR and took the Tsar out. That's what happened. And then when you look at history and you again, the slow march through the institutions really kicked in the 1800s. And when you know the history of it, you can start to put all the pieces in place. And I believe, getting back to Trump, right? Trump gets it. If you go and have a look at a video of he done at the G7, he was asked who is your biggest ally? Is it the European Union or is it the British? And he went, England. Let's talk about England and the English. No one talks about England anymore. Why is that? It's very interesting. I had a conversation with Prime Minister Boris Johnson about that. Really? He always puts in little things, and the British went mental because he said the word England, right? And he understands because he took down the North American Free Trade Agreement, which is an exact replica of the British Union, right? And he took it out. He said, you're not doing this. You're not doing it to America like you've done to England, right? From that union, they sucked into, and then America was paying for Canada, paying for Mexico, and then America started coming down economically. He said, we ain't having it, right? What happened? They hit a pair of towers, and they already had prepared something called the Patriot Act. From that, you got Homeland Security. From Homeland Security, what did you get? FEMA regions. The FEMA regions are the same as the English regions that the European Union is put in place in England to destroy England, its counties, its shires, and its structures so it don't exist anymore. They was doing the same thing with America. The difference is Trump is an intelligent 180 IQ, went to a military academy, come out top in strategy, went into business and said that's what they're doing. Unlike Farage, right, who we call Benedict Arnold. Who is Benedict Arnold? He was the man who betrayed George Washington. He took 10,000 guineas off the British to betray his own men and his own country. He's buried in Battersea in South East London in an unmarked grave as a traitor. That's what Farage is.
Right. There's a lot to unpack here,
mate.
Graham.
I've got to say you're on fire tonight, Graham. We're going much deeper than we did last time.
We're enjoying it.
Go on. Do you want to ask this one?
I would like to ask this one, yeah. Just because I'm already the bad
Trump.
One. So, Graham, what would you say to me if I said to you, 97% of Trump's cabinet is either a dual citizen of Israel and a full Zionist or a little hat? What would you say to that?
I would say to you, understand something called game plan. Game planning strategy, you have to so just to make sure you're all aware of this, right? I'm a strategist, right? I don't think like normal people. Trust me, I'm a strategist. It's a different ball game. But let me explain what gameplay is to anyone who understands it from a football perspective, right? If Tottenham was playing Arsenal, but they needed to beat Arsenal to win the 3 leagues, and I'm not into football, let's say they want to win all the titles, they need to take a defender out, right? Well, they can't do it by kicking him off the field, literally, with their boots on. So what they do is they wait for a transfer window to come up, they buy the defender, they sit him on a bench, and they keep him on the bench so it doesn't disillusion the actual team, right? But by doing that, they've took him off the field. That's what Trump is doing. It's called gameplay. And you will never understand the strategy because there's only a handful of people that know that strategy, right? And I'll give you an example of Trump doing it, right? John Bolton, one of the nastiest men that's ever walked this planet, right? He is a warmonger. He is evil to the core, right? Trump don't like war. So why did he bring John Bolton into his administration? So he could sit him on the bench. He didn't have to play against him. You've got to understand one thing. When you take the most dangerous people and put them in your admin, you've then got Secret Service keeping an eye on them. Every one of their communications, every bit of their communications is monitored. They're not allowed to do any speeches or do anything. Right?
I get what you're saying. Graham. However, I would counter to you and ask you, do you really think that Israel wouldn't be able to infiltrate some communications, and B, don't you think, for instance, $100 million check for a lobbying fee is very good for the little hats, whether you think he's controlling them or not. I would argue $100 million gets you a fair amount of leniency on the leash.
I mean, I've got opinions about Tommy Robinson. I don't believe he should be in prison. It is political, but I believe that the little hats need a win because of what's gone on with Palestine and Israel, etc. They need a win, so they need to lock him up, and then the people demand he's released. I believe that what's going to happen is Farage is going to be taken out of the game, and he'll end up being some sort of, I don't know.
But hold on, isn't Tommy Robinson directly funded by the Little Hats?
Yes,
Isn't there a direct paper trail to show that Tommy Robinson, through people like Rebel Media and Ezra Levant, is actually funded by the right wing and Little Hat Media?
So what really did it for me with Tommy Robinson was when live or recorded on Twitter, he said, if you don't support Israel, you're a jihadist. That was it. I went, that's it. Out. I'm not interested.
Okay.
Right? So I don't support Israel. I can 100% tell you I'm not a jihadist. And
Donald Trump said if you don't like Israel, we don't want you in our country.
Well, yeah, and I agree with you. He has said that. Right.
He also said the vaccines are good.
Careful.
But yeah, I'll be careful with that one. There are other. Listen, I'm not telling you that I've got all the answers. I am telling you that in any war, and we are in a war, right? We're 100%. In a war. It may not be kinetic in the way that people believe. We are in a war, and in strategy and war, you use deception. If you read The Art of War, deception was a key element of it, right? So, and by the way, people, I'm not saying Trump is some sort of angel, right? You don't get billions of dollars and become the president of the United States of America by being a complete and utter angel. But what I do know is that every one of his cabinet meetings, he had his own personal Bible, and they said a prayer before each one of them cabinet meetings, right? So you're never going to understand the strategy. It will come out in the wash sooner or later. But you're not going to see these things start the dominoes going. I mean, I have got a belief in what's going on.
Yeah. Can I just say one thing though, right? With regards to Trump, mate, and this Uber strategy that you're talking about, I 100% hope that you're right. I really do, because obviously that would be the best thing of all. But what I fear is that, I mean, we've covered on our Patreon how Trump in multiple different factions of the Little Hats is being called literally the Messiah, the Messiah. Yeah.
He was given the Torah crown.
He's been awarded the Torah crown.
Which only is awarded to the Messiah.
Yeah.
It's specifically...
So if you are right, Graham, then he has pulled the wool over the eyes of the Little Hats, or we call them the Black Cube organisation, so well that they're literally worshipping him as the Messiah at the moment. We've covered this extensively. And, like I say, I hope you're right, mate, but I have doubts.
So go back to my original comment, right? The original comment roughly on this subject, not completely on it, right? If I talk about the Russian mafia, I'm not talking about all of the Russian people. If I talk about the American mafia, I'm not talking about all of the American people. And the same goes for when I'm talking about the Jewish mafia. I'm not talking about all the Jewish people, right? There are large numbers that don't want anything to do with this. They've got nothing to do with it whatsoever. And some of them people are in his administration. You won't know who is who until it all kicks off. And it's going to kick off, right? But go back and look at what's actually going on, right? They needed to reset the borders, right? Look at how America was originally constructed. It bought Florida from the Spanish. It bought Alaska from the Russians. It bought Louisiana from the French, right? There is whole elements of this where they've purchased. They don't go to war. America never used to go to war, right? If you want to know how the Little Hats influence come, go back to the late 1800s, early 1900s. Go and read Hansard, and you will see.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking
over
about.
from Eastern Europe, right? They started flooding the country. The little hats from this country went over there and said, "Stop it!" Right? Don't send them here. We don't want them. That was their own people, right? So there was people looking after our interests, right? From the little hats. What happened? They come from Dover, sent them straight up to Liverpool. From Liverpool, they went to America, right? And if you really want to know, there's something that people need to understand. All roads lead to Rome. And when people understand what that phrase actually means, the communist system is Roman, right? They had two groups of people. One was the patriots, I think they was called, and the others were plebeians, right? And then they had an underclass called slaves. They used to flail people. The system was evil in its intent, right? Where did constitutions come from and confederacies? From the Greeks. Who was it who went to the Greeks and got turfed out? Little lads. Where did they go? To the Romans. They financed a lot of them campaigns, right? The Roman campaigns. It's been there for a long time, but it isn't all of them. So there's this group of really evil people that need to be taken out of the game. The game is so complex.
You're right.
Fifth generation warfare. But we're in a situation now where the weaponry is so advanced, you need a lot cleverer people. So getting back to the strategy, they need to reset. How do they do that? Well, Russia needs to go back to the reset position of prior to the war, right? And prior to the USSR and Stalin and others and Lenin in particular, creating Ukraine as an independent nation. It's never been a unit. It's always been called Little Russia. The Crimea was part of Russia before America even existed, right? So you can see a reset position there, right? Where they're taking back what they need to come to reset Russia as Russia. It's already the biggest landmass in the world, right?
Well, Graham, can I just stop you there? Graham, can I just stop you there for 2 seconds? Right. Just because otherwise you're saying a lot of stuff. And by the time you get to the time you're going to take a break, there's going to be like 10 things in between what I'm about to say. So you're talking about Ukraine being little Russia and Russia needing to be whole again as wider Russia, let's call it. Right?
Belarus, Crimea, Georgia.
Yeah. So, I mean, in my research into what the Little Hats are trying to do in Israel, the Talmudic community, they are trying to take Ukraine for themselves, the tip of Iran, a bit of Georgia, and Syria, and a little bit of Lebanon. They want to actually take Ukraine for themselves because they view that as Greater Israel. And that's what's actually on their badge, which some of the soldiers are fighting with it on their badge. They've got a badge of Greater Israel, not just Israel.
So again, I'm not disputing what you're saying, right? There are a lot of people that believe that the Ukraine is going to be taken for
because there's another thing, because the original Ashkenazis,
the Khazarians, that's where ancient Khazaria
was right in Ukraine. So it makes sense to me that fundamental Zionists would want to take that back.
Like the second
Israel. And on the show, Graham, we've speculated that we call them the Black Cube organisation, the people that wear the little hats. But there's warring factors within the Black Cube organisation. For all we know, the Israelites might be trying to take Ukraine, the Ashkenazi region, back against the Bolsheviks, which are obviously Russia.
We're going
but the whole thing is Trump's fucking in with both of them.
Yeah, this is our concern, Graham, because it's like it seems like
Trump's about America. The only thing. So you've already hit on something. You hope I'm right. Well, I've got to tell you something, people. Everyone wants to hope I'm right, or there is a bigger plan going on here. Because if there aren't, we're all banging trouble. I mean, in a big way, and especially with weaponry that we've got now, we're all gonna be sold out as slaves, or it's all gonna kick off, or there is a group of people planning in the background. So getting back to China, Taiwan will become part of China. America is going to take back the Panama Canal. It's taking Greenland. It ain't doing it by force. It's saying sell it to us, just like we did with Florida, just like we did with Alaska. But why does it want Greenland? One, to protect its own shores, but two, because it's got the largest amount of the freshest mineral water, drinking water in the world. The largest reserve in one place is there, and they want it, right? So if you look at the protection mechanisms that Trump, as a strategist, is putting in place, so it almost looks like President Xi, President Putin, President Trump have had a conversation about this, and for this to work, they have to show the American people how bad it could get, right? And the world, how bad it could get.
We have speculated this on the show.
Yeah. Now, I'm glad you've mentioned Greenland. I'm just going to put something on the screen, Graham, right? Because obviously this is a huge story at the moment. Why does Trump want Greenland? Russia keeping a close eye on Trump's claim to Greenland. Why do Greenlanders make of Donald Trump advances headlines all over the shop? You're absolutely right. Greenland is very rich in minerals and all types of resources under the ground, and it has very little infrastructure to currently mine it. That's why it's not being mined. Can I just put this on the table? This person on Facebook called Jar Fatite, they claim to be an ex-illuminated secret society member. They're saying that the Trump administration is going to continue the plans for global governance. Example, to suggest the annexation of Canada and Greenland is just creating the solid North American Union. Papal Knight, Illuminized Freemason Trump, part of the Jesuit agenda. When the New World Order for Rome is complete, there will be 10 unions that the final Roman Emperor, Pope, Antichrist will control from the Dome of the Rock on Temple Mount in Jerusalem. This is what the Jesuits have planned. What do you say to that?
I would say, and obviously in jest, as long as America doesn't evict Father Christmas, I'm happy with it.
bearing in mind, if you look, I'm just trying to look for it now, but there's so many, that there's a map directly from the Club of Rome, right, which has a unified United States of America, Canada, and Greenland, and this was out decades ago.
Yeah. Well, I think that's
right.
the diagram.
And now all of a sudden, Trump's talking about, but this is directly from the
Club of Rome.
From the Club of Rome, yeah. And now all of a sudden, at the same time, you've got Trump talking about Canada would be great as the 51st state, and he's sending his fucking son to Greenland.
The Panama Canal. He's after the Panama Canal.
Yeah. And this is in the Club of Rome's own documents. This is all the stuff that we're worried about with Trump, and the whole thing as well is it all sounds a bit QAnon-esque to us.
So again, this is a highly complex situation. I remember reading 20 years ago a scientific report about fresh water, and they all said the same thing. It won't be oil or gas that causes the next.
I've seen documents. Yeah.
Right. There's one thing that all human beings need, and technically you can fast for weeks and weeks and weeks and survive. What you can't survive without is water and fresh water. And Greenland holds one of the biggest reservoirs of mineralized fresh water anywhere in the world, right? So that's part of it. You can also use that for irrigation and remineralizing the soil, right? Which is crucially important because of the way that they've farmed the land, not just in America, but everywhere in the world, and ignored the fact that the soil needs to be remineralized. Otherwise, it's not in the plant. If it's not in the plant, you're not eating it, right? So there are lots of reasons why strategically Greenland is important. And just to make sure, I just want to correct something you said. It was more your phrasing that Trump's just started talking about Greenland. He has been talking about this for a very long. Even
No,
in
no,
the
no.
last-
Beg your pardon.
For years.
What I will say, sorry, Graham, I will take that back. I'll say it's become prominent in the mainstream media
Again.
at the
I think
at the
that's
same
right.
time
I
as
accept
him.
that. So it's
At the same
always-
time as him
always been
talking
there.
about Canada being the 51st state. That was my point. That these it's come up at the same time as he's talking about Canada. That was my point.
All it does is show me that whoever these people are, and if the mainstream media is going into panic over it, there's a reason for that, and especially when you consider who the people are that control the media, right, and the film industries and Hollywood, right.
I'd argue they all wear little hats.
They all wear little hats. So, but I'm not suggesting, and I want to make sure I'm clear on this, that they're all like that. I believe that some very, very good and clever people that
Absolutely.
are technically wearing the little hats.
Yeah, I would
are
agree.
with us, not
I would
against
agree.
us.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
what-
no, I agree. That's what I said earlier, Graham, that we speculate here on the show that there are warring factions between the Black Cube organisation as a whole.
Exactly.
But I'm still not waiting for little white hats to save me.
No,
You know,
no,
I'm
there's
not- I'm
no
not
white
gonna hold
hats
my
coming.
breath.
To,
I'm
and
not
if
gonna
they
hold
are
my
white
breath.
hats coming to save you, then I'm sure they're going to be little.
While we're on the subject of Trump, Graham, while we've still got you here, I just want to put something else on the screen. And this is a meme, but obviously a meme speaks 1,000 words. What do you think of this? The relationship between the Orange Messiah and Enki Musk, the ancient Sumerian tech lord. Because from where we're sitting, it seems like this unholy trinity of the Orange Messiah, Enki Musk, and Peter Thiel are basically also going to be ushering in the fourth industrial revolution, transhumanism, global AI governance. What do you say to people with that concern, mate?
Right. So the easiest way for me to explain this is to give you another scenario, right? And real history rather than, anything that goes into the deep conspiracy world. This isn't about a conspiracy, right? I want to make sure people understand this, right? So I'll ask you, what date was the election held here in Great Britain? What date was it?
Sorry, say that again.
What date was the election in this country, meaning the United Kingdom, this United Kingdom? What date was the election last year?
Was it July the 4th?
Right. What is July the 4th?
Will Smith, Independence Day.
It's Independence Day.
Yeah.
When was Trump elected? What day?
I can see where you're going. Guy Fawkes, bonfire
5th of
night.
November.
5th of November. Remember.
Right. Now I'm going to ask a question that most people get wrong. Right. I don't expect you to get it right. What is 5th of November to you?
Well, that's it. I believe that's the day when they burnt Guy Fawkes at the stake for trying to blow up Parliament.
Right. So you understand that they call Trump Orange Man bad?
Yeah, the Orange Messiah, Orange Man badge, yeah.
What day did the Prince of Orange, the Dutch king that was invited to England to take back control for the Protestants, what day did he land in Brixham in Devon in 1688, who created the Declaration of Reasons, the Declaration of Rights, and the Bill of Rights that gave us the massive part of our Constitution, that protected the Magna Carta, that done all these things? What day did his feet touch the ground of England?
I'm going to guess it was either July 4th or November 5th.
November the 5th.
November the 5th again.
So think of the Prince of Orange and what he did positively for us, and then think of Orange Man bad, and then think that all of these dates are not connected. People need to see, they're trying to show you and telling people to calm down, we've got this, right? And I believe that's going to happen. I do believe that Jesuits, certain types of other groups of people, the little hats, and the jihadists are all going to get their asses smacked.
By
And I
who?
don't know how
But apart
we
from
can
them,
do
who
it
is
in.
there? Who is left after we take away the 3 J's?
The Christian Reich.
Yeah,
that's it. So,
Well, I'm
we,
just saying,
what we call it here on the show, Graham, we call at the moment we call it what's happening in the clown world is there's a rise of the Christian Reich. That's what we're calling it, and
reactionary right wing anti-Islamic Christianity.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, anti-Islamic Christianity. Yeah,
there is something on Tucker Carlson by a Christian
a member of the
leader in
Christian Reich,
America, and it's called Christian Nationalism. And people should go and watch that episode. Christian nationalism. And you will see what, how, and what it all means. And then you will see the rise of those. So let me just make sure I'm clear on this, yeah? I'm not a Bible basher. I believe in the 10 Commandments. I believe in the word of Jesus Christ. Christianity has been hijacked, right? And it has been for hundreds of years. But when you actually look at the word of Jesus and what he did, right? He was a warrior, and a warrior against the Roman Empire. He was a warrior against usury. He was a warrior against everything that we are fighting for. And the number one social justice system in the world, bar none, is the English common law and the English constitution. We exported it to America. That is what's going to take our countries back. And people are going to see.
That's Full Metal Rap.
Right. The other week, Lee said the clown show is about to get super interesting, and I can definitely feel the heat being turned up again. A lot of 33 signalling going on. The Bank of England, the biggest interest hike in 33 years to 3%.
What a fucking surprise!
What a fucking surprise! Yeah. One thing I will say though, my parents said that when I was little, when I was a baby, and they had their first mortgage, do you know how high the interest rates were then?
Go on.
14%. 14%.
Wow.
So that means, like, obviously, if you've got money in the bank, you're laughing. But if you've got a mortgage, you're not. So, hey, I'm not sticking up for the bank, but 3%. That was only in the early 80s. 14% interest rates. So, plenty of threes. Lee, did you send this one to me on the left about the Royal Mail?
Yeah.
That was sent to us from somebody in the dojo.
Yeah, I got sent to by, was it Badria?
Yeah.
Yeah, she sent it to me as well. 33 Royal Mail employees are attacked by dogs every week. And we got photos.
I'm not surprised at. They probably think there are other dogs wearing muzzles.
Yeah,
look at the amount of fucking muzzles that's being worn there.
Come on, right? And now, so yeah, there's a nice little 33 there. Now, please tell me, everyone, if I'm being stupid and stretching here and just being a Luciferian, right? South Korean declares, if this really happened and as described, it's terrible because lots of people died, and we're certainly not laughing at that. But what I'm laughing at is, if I'm right, 153. So 1 and 5 is a 6, and then 3, 6. So you've got a 666 there straight away.
We've got Lucia.
Now, again, people will think I'm crazy. They usually do. But we've looked at these names that get injected into news stories in the media. Often they are the name of the reporter or the writer or the newsreader. And they seem to have like a comedy name or a dark comedy name that is linked to what's going on. So Lucia, that's Lucius.
Same as the address for the what we showed earlier.
Exactly. The address for the Tavistock Child Bell-End Chopping Institute is called like bell-sized close. Lucia Binding. Now, do you remember
Did you see it? Oh, sorry, Karen.
No, please, you go on.
Did you see the BBC news report when they changed it at the last minute?
You showed
to the story. Yeah, Tara Slim shared it, and it said one thing when you clicked on it, something else appeared. So they changed the story.
If I'm right in thinking the first story was, it wasn't crush, it was cardiac.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I don't know what the numbers are for how many cardiac incidents in this, but it's higher than Travis Scott. I think in Travis Scott it was 11 cardiac. So 8 deaths. We should laugh. Please, everyone, we're laughing at the numbers, not the deaths. 8 deaths, so it's a Saturn thing, and it was 11. Now, I don't know how many cardiac instances there are in this exactly, but I've got a feeling it was around 20. But yeah, it seems very similar to the Travis Scott event for me, because apparently the surging or the crushing was caused by there being a street party with 100,000 people there, and some famous Instagram or YouTubers went down an alleyway, and someone goes, there they went, and loads of people went down to see these famous YouTubers or Instagrammers and got crushed, apparently. But I've seen a video where like 20 people are all getting, their chest pumped on the floor. Lucia binding, a light binding crush. Maybe I'm reaching. Am I reaching, Master Lee?
No.
Simple, no.
Thank you. Okay, so let's have some dark occult memes. This is, funnily enough, not by one of our crew, but I've got to give it some airtime. Look at this beast.
Yeah, this is fucking awesome when I seen this.
Demons.
Bezos.
Demons walk among us. Billionaires aren't people. Starring Jeff Bezos with Mark Zuckerberg. Oh, featuring, look, it even says there Netflix star Bill Gates in the small print. Yeah, so it's got...
If anyone doesn't know, that's Hellraiser from the 80s. Is it 80s? Yeah, from the 80s.
Yeah, good at the good old days. Pinhead. I watched one of the Hellraiser films recently, and I never really realised that the bad guys, or Pinhead and his cohorts in Hellraiser, they're actually interdimensional sadomasochistic gimp demons.
Wow. Heard it here first, guys.
Have you seen it, Master Lee? Or have you watched it recently?
Well, no, years ago, but I can't remember it now.
If you get a chance to watch it again, it's very strange. I can't remember what they're called in Hellraiser, these demons, but they are all sadomasochistic gimps. I find it very interesting.
They've got like hooks and shit in them.
Yeah, but they do it to themselves as well, and they're getting off on it, and they've got like little like orgasm things coming out of their throat as well. They're seeing people get chopped up and shit.
You saw that video I did with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That short clip. Yeah, that was quite interesting, wasn't it?
It certainly was, and just to recap for anyone that hasn't seen it, there's sort of like these two sort of like adepts of some ancient futuristic religion, and they're in front of this supercomputer, and that supercomputer, what's it called? Deep Thought.
Deep Thought, yeah.
Cenobites, Rachel McCaskill, thank you. That's what they're called.
Cenobites, well done, Rachel McCaskill, thank you very much.
10 Schwab points.
Yeah, and they sort of consult it, and they're saying, you've been here for 7 billion years. What is the ultimate question, the final question that answers all the correct questions in the universe? What is it? And what's the answer, Master Lee?
You have to ask the computer that's going to be created in the future, which is Earth.
Oh right, so the question that
the answer. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the answer. Yeah. So what is the answer?
The answer is Earth. Earth is a computer of the future. Because that computer said, Deep Thought said that it will. It can't give the answer, but it will create a computer that can give the answer.
What's the 42 about then?
Level 42. It's a computer coding. So for those people that are into computers or coding, number 42 is important.
Okay.
Isn't it like a space or an asterisk? So it actually means nothing.
I'm not sure. But maybe somebody in the comments who's a computer geek can. But that's where level 42 got the name from, by the way.
Yeah, because 42 always comes up. Yeah, it's a very interesting...
But 42 is 6.
I was literally just about to say, 4 and 2 is 6, yeah.
So the answer is 33.
Broadcasting across the entire Crater realm. #VagLife.
So you can check that out in the Guardian's channel. That was a video you dropped the other day. It's a really sort of uncanny little clip. Okay, here's a good one. We've been talking about Satan.
This was all over social media. This was
all
Jesus
over.
Christ.
Now people were going, "Oh my God, look what he's wearing," and I put something like, "These fucking normie truthers." One of the world's leading Satanists wears a Baphomet costume.
Dude, this dude wants to stick a chip on your head.
Surprise and shock. But what? Look, imagine my surprise that he's dressed as Baphomet. Apparently, this outfit costs like $7,500.
Getting out of a Tesla, which their symbol is the fucking horns, the goat horns.
I mean, look, it's not surprising. If you partake in Halloween, everyone dresses in something satanic. He's loaded. If I was loaded and I partake in stuff like this, that's dope outfit.
It's a great outfit, mate. Fair blazer mask.
If you were into that kind of stuff and you think and you like dressing up and you like and you don't mind partaking in something that might potentially be a bit inverted and hijacked, hey, I think it's a dope outfit, and it's not surprising. Fucking Enki Musk.
Yeah.
So anyway, I shared it, and then my share of it got 22 comments and 3 shares. 322 Skull and Bones. Right down.
And we were on 322.
Oh, shut up!
No shit.
Just stop it, mate. Stop it. Okay. Ooh, here's some good ones.
Oh yeah, I'm Alan Partridge. Is 25 years old. Isn't it about time we finally set Steve Coogan's alter ego die?
No. Some of my more normalistic friends on Facebook posted this, and they were Alan Partridge fans, as I used to be. And they're like, "Oh, I hate these kind of articles. They're so negative." And I just went bang into the comment section like, "I guarantee this is because this character will never survive after the resurrection of Savile into Coogan's meat suit." And they're like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" And I was like, look. I was like, "Do you think?" And they're going, "Oh, look, I'm not questioning whether playing Savile is going to be a good or not for his career. It blatantly won't be." And I was like, "Well, why do you think he would have taken it then? It's either being punished or in the ladders that he's in.
It's a great honour.
This is the highest accolade. Yeah. To play Grandmaster Jin. Whoa, not many people have got a meat suit that's capable."
I bet Elon Musk would like to do that.
Right, now, here's where it gets juicy. When I reposted not the conversation, but I reposted the sentiment of what I'd said in my own post. And I basically said, like, this is setting the scene for the resurrection of Master Ginny into this meat suit or something like that. And I had one of my contacts and it come into my personal messenger. This contact is my high-level professional sports and entertainment contact.
Okay.
And it's also someone that might have been involved with like what the footballers do to avoid coinciditis, you know?
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Someone that's given me good information about Premiership footballers and when I was talking about coinciditis. And he goes, "I know the person that wrote Steve Coogan's autobiography. Like, he is dark. He is dark. He's into
some weird shit.
That stuff, like bad stuff involving people you shouldn't be doing things with." And he said, and he's highly protected. The press have a gagging order on him. And I was like, "What, like Cliff Richard?" And he's like, "Yeah, probably, yeah."
And then he's playing Grandmaster Ginny.
Yeah. And
why are we not surprised?
Yeah,
no, I'm not surprised, but I'm swaying towards the more of the decision that it's a great honour.
One of my
play.
contacts is a very good contact, and that's why I don't normally speak about them. But this is very, very good information, and they're the type of person that's not a truther. They're not a conspiracy theorist, but they watch my stuff because they know me through sports. Yeah, so I know it's good information. They don't chat shit. They said, "Yeah, you don't want to know how dark Steve Coogan is." I said, I think I already know.
What else we got? What was in his drawer? Go on, Musty, go on.
Sorry?
What was hidden in his drawer?
Yeah, what was that? Partridge's drawer?
I mean, that was a bit weird, wasn't it? Like, to have that as part of his...
yeah, that he constantly had some sort of awful taboo in his drawer that he would dive across the room.
I remember in one episode when Lynn or someone opened the drawer, he said those were already in there. So it's more than one thing. He said those were already in there.
I remember Lynn looking in the drawer once and laughing like a little schoolgirl, and then him getting really embarrassed. So rather than it being something sinister, it's something really pathetic and embarrassing.
I think it's those leather fucking pants that he wears when he's
I think it's those vulcanized rubber pants.
vulcanized rubber.
They don't perish. So what else have we got here? Someone's in our group earlier this week. They're talking about sausage fingers on Radio 1.
That's right.
We did this. This is Rise Above. We made that happen. King Charles's massive sausage fingers explained by Doctor. Right, now his name's Dana McAlpine. Does anyone know who Lord McAlpine was?
No, go on.
He's that famous paedophile that was on the list. Philip Schofield. He was mates with Jimmy Savile, and he was on the famous list that Philip Schofield was going to drop. And then Lord McAlpine died. He was right up there with Ted Heath and all those ones, apparently.
Well, it's only appropriate that they
and
would
then
have.
Look, just beneath where it says Dana McAlpine, look how many comments there are. 33 comments and 30 likes. 333 again. See, I'm not making this up, and I'm not choosing things. I mean, obviously, I would have chose this even if it didn't have 33 in it, because it's got sausage fingers.
We got the 222 underneath by the Microsoft.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's the computer 42, I guess.
Which obviously 222 again is 6. Divide that by 2, you got 33.
And I think this is Al Gore. I think Al Gore's been listening to our jokes and is now remanifesting them and copying our jokes.
Reports of a plane crash in the World Trade Center in New York.
Outside Liverpool Street Station.
11 people have been confirmed dead in an attack on the controversial French satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo. 5 people are in critical condition.
Have been killed in Paris and more than 200 are injured in a series of attacks across the city.
There have been 2 explosions at Brussels Airport and a blast at a city centre metro station.
It's double L, you've heard of me, the flow's poison, liquid mercury. Hear my voice when I curse this beat, I let it moisten before surgery. Guilty in charge, repeat offender, for revealing elitist agenda. Still at large, delete the data, success or defeat or retreat or surrender. And I can't let go, killer artist Charlie Hebdo. That's a false flag, actors in tow, and they blame Islam for the media show. 2 weeks later, Copenhagen, could it be bait of these global pagans? These traitors feed off people hating, so nothing's changed. Guilty in charge, repeat offence. My arse is back on the bench. The prosecution speaks my offensive views on my former defence. So hence, saw the wheat from the chaff. The covert conflicts, rearranged maps. Government funded, hidden bloodbath, is misinformation, way off the graph. So seek out multiple sources. Be beware of malevolent forces. They steer clear minds off courses. Hold your orbit strong like a fortress. On operating a lawless state. The internet's like an open gateway. I gain knowledge at raucous rates that I disseminate with flawless pace. Weapons of mass distraction, fired by warring factions. Fearful thoughts gain traction. Step 1 in a chain reaction. Weapons of mass distraction, fired by warring factions. That's a direct action, breaking down on human attraction.
Not really free your mind, it's free yourself from mind. That's why society is structured to completely engross us in things to occupy our mind. Open your mind.
There's a war going on through our minds, from our attention, from our lives, and it keeps going on because we remain blind. The system is shoveling shit in our eyes. Consume this, watch that, or anything on a big screen that's flat. Distractions come in many formats. Time is one thing you never claw back. Weapons of mass distraction, fired by warring factions. Fearful thoughts gain traction. Step 1 in a chain reaction. Playing GTA, well, you're flushing the focus away. I'm cruising through this breathing illusion. Why do I need your game to play? This is real, are you feeling me? It's all vice in the city, no liberty. Put down the Xbox controller when I bust a verbal soliloquy. Weapons of mass distraction, fired by warring factions. That's a direct action, breaking down on human attraction. There's no need for a power up. I discharge my aura, climb a mountain, cross a border, attack an all in a mind explorer. I want a PSC, a teleporter, to a land with no structural order. No distractions from warring factions, leading people like lambs to the slaughter. Weapons of mass distraction, fired by warring factions. Fearful thoughts gain traction. Step 1 in a chain reaction. See me, I write about issues. You wipe joint pads with tissues. Unconsciously moving along while your awareness is stuck in situ. For your mind, it's a major misuse. You're online, settling disputes. In a deathmatch, throwing a smoke grenade. I'm in a sound clash, smoking big suits. Weapons of mass distraction, fired by warring factions. Fearful thoughts gain traction. Step 1 in a chain reaction. Weapons of mass distraction, fired by warring factions. That's a direct action, breaking down on human attraction. Weapons of mass distraction, fired by warring factions. Fearful thoughts gain traction. Step 1 in a chain reaction. Weapons of mass distraction, fired by warring factions. That's a direct action, breaking down on